I love Nine Inch Nails. They are probably one of my favorite industrial bands that I've listened to, and probably one of my like actual top five favorite artists ever. And I have like a lot to say about Nine Inch Nails and like each album in depth, but I'll try to keep this video short and like generalize each album and what each of them are about to me. And this is not gonna be like an analytical video. Like I said, I want to keep this like concise and a little bit like surface level, but I'll still like talk about like how I feel about each album and like why like I feel like how I feel. Sorry if I'm like sorry if like I'm not that good at like describing how I feel about each like album, but I hope that this video can at least cover what I like about each album. Pretty Hate Machine on a surface level feels like a breakup album, but when you look into the lyrics, it you start to realize that it's more of a self-loathing type of album because if you try to describe someone what Pretty Hate Machine is, it's basically depressed emo gets horny type shit. But like every song is different and is really good, and it feels like it's very ahead of its time and like very catchy as well. Like Head Like a Hole, Terrible Lie, Sin, my favorite track. I fucking love Sin, and and also Sanctified, Something I Can Never Have. That's What I Get. Also, Ring Finger is really good. I really love Pretty Hate Machine, and like I said, it feels like it's ahead of its time despite like some effects being like outdated a little bit. But overall, I really love Pretty Hate Machine, and it like every song kind of like treads like the same theme of like self-loathing and also like trying to avoid toxic relationships while craving it. But I think it does really well on its first album, and it's really good. Broken is a different album compared to Pretty Hate Machine because one, it's not an album, it's an EP, and two, he didn't have his original label and he switched over to Interscope due to Trent not wanting to make Pretty Hate Machine 2 and him wanting to make his own music, and like like no one controlling what he does or says. So he moved to Interscope, and they basically let Trent do whatever he wants, and the next album that he worked on was Broken, along with a X-rated softcore film, and we're not gonna get into that, but we're gonna get into the album, which has four original tracks, two instrumentals, and two covers. And I'll just be covering the four originals, and then I'll cover the two covers afterwards. But the two original songs, "Wish," "Last," "Happiness and Slavery," and "Gave Up," are four fucking intense, balls to the walls, heavy ass metal like songs of all like bro. This shit on the aux is insane. Like each song has like their own energy, like high octane energy to it. Last has some gross, grimy, gory lyrics that like Last is like my favorite song, and like probably my favorite Nine Inch Nails song like in general from that album and like in general. But also Happiness and Slavery is really good as well. And Gave Up, honestly, at first I didn't like that song like a little bit, but then the more I listened to it, the more I started to like enjoy it more and more. And then when I heard it live on like on his like recent tour, that like bro, that shit was an incredible. But like I'll talk about it later. But yeah, all four of his original songs are really good, and they're very high octane, high energy. Like it does not end. Like but what's it called? Like I said, there's two instrumentals, one at the beginning and one before Happiness and Slavery, which are nice breaks in between before it gets like, it goes back to intense. And also Suck and Physical are pretty good covers. And out of the two of them, I would say I prefer Physical over Suck, but honestly, to me, they're kind of interchangeable. I don't think I emphasized how angry the album is compared to Pray Hit Machine. Pray Hit Machine has its like angry bars and like lyrics to them, but Broken is in a separate level since like he just got off his old label, and also like the music industry like trying to like categorize him into like making him do like one sound rather than like whatever he wants. So that energy carried with this in this album, and I think it's for the better in my opinion. Next up in his discography is The Downward Spiral. Some say it is his greatest album that has been ever made, but in my personal opinion, it's peak Nine Inch Nails and probably one of my favorite albums that has like ever come out, and honestly, one of my top five favorite albums of all time. Like this album is a concept album about a man's downward spiral, drugs, lust, every vice you can think of, and it is basically a perfect album through and through. Like there is no bad track. Well, I mean, technically there is like one bad track, in my opinion. Well, it's not a bad track, but like, not my favorite. But like, yeah, we'll get into it. And the starter is Mr. Self Destruct, which is again best openers for an album ever. Like, damn, the like if you thought Broken was intense, this album like like dwarfs that album compared to Broken. Like Mr. Self Destruct is like instant like it starts off with the sample, and then it slowly ramps up, and like as it ramps up like it keeps going, and it stops for a little bit for like an instrumental. Like it's a quiet sudden one, and then it slowly comes back up, and then it keeps going, and then it moves on to Piggy, which slows down again, and then afterwards Heresy, March of the Pigs, like are like heavy, intense, and they like keep, especially March of the Pigs. Like my only single complaint about March of the Pigs is that I wish the live version was like I wish the live version was released on like the original, because that final chorus about like all the pigs are all lined up, all the pigs. I wish that part was in the original album, and yeah, I love that part of March of the Pigs, and also Heresy is a really good track as well, where it where Trent criticizes the where he doesn't criticize God directly, but the people that justify their shitty actions for the name of God, even though even though what they believe in is hypocritical and like wars and all that stuff. But yeah, Heresy incredible, and then Closer. What are the nine in it? What if Trent's bigger songs that put him in the radar, and it's a peak song for a reason. And Ruiner, my personal favorite song. It honestly, the first few bars like it's too fast to like understand, and then boom boom, like the instrumentals kick in, like like damn, and then like the halfway groove with like the guitar and everything, like bro, that song is perfect in my eyes. And then Becoming, I Do Not Want This, Big Man, and then Becoming and I Do Not Want This, those two tracks are really good as well. Big Man with the Gun, nah, I'd skip it, but like it's alright. But like you would not be catching me singing this shit, I'm sorry. But like it's kind of cheesy. Like, yeah. and then suddenly it goes quiet halfway through the album. Well, not halfway, but like 2/3 into the album, just quiet. A beautiful piece, a warm place. Yeah, that's what the song is called, a warm place. Like it is the only, well, not the only quiet part, but like it's quiet and like lets you rest for like a little bit after all that loudness and chaos and debauchery you've heard. And then we go back to Eraser, where the intensity slows back up, and then it goes louder, and then Reptile goes through, and then it gets louder, like slower, more intense, and like more chaotic as it goes on. And then the title track, Downward Spiral, peak, hurt, peak. This album, peak. Overall, 10 out of 10. You will not hear me otherwise. The Fragile and Still are two completely different albums compared to the entirety of Nine Inch Nails' discography because of the vibes that they throw off in those projects. I'll go in the Fragile first, where it's basically a big ass double LP with bangers and a bunch of instrumentals as well. And I like the instrumentals in some in this album. I really enjoy what's it called? Lemur, and also I know Lemur is not an instrumental technically, but to me it's an instrumental, and also Pilgrimage. The vibe that that song gives is like it feels like you're going down like the steps like deeper into hell than you already are, and like but I'll go into like the main like vocal tracks. I like somewhat damaged. Also the wretched as well. They come down to a banger. So is underneath it all. What else? And also even deeper into the voice. Probably my favorite song from that album. But let me go into the vibes real quick. The album is all over the place. It's a very experimental, and this album did not come out till like 6 years after the Downward Spiral because it just took him that long, Trent Reznor, to make to make that album, and also a bunch of other, and also like huge tragedies happening in between the process of that album. But I'll get into that in a separate video. But yeah, with those feelings being carried over into the album, like you could tell like the tone is off, and like the album's at like a point of breaking, and like it feels empty for some reason and incomplete. Well, because it was incomplete. They released the deviations version of it, which comes with more transitional tracks. And like, what would this album be if it was fully complete? But I'm going off the side tangents. I really like this album, and let me go into Still real quick. Still is a much shorter but more depressing project than The Fragile because it's an acoustic album that focuses more on like acoustic and instrumentals, but like it's very like the album feels very cold and like hopeless. Like there's like some semblance of hope in the album, but then it gets like crushed by the end by by and and all that could have been. I love that track from Still. Probably my favorite from Still, in my opinion. My favorite instrumental is Leaving Hope. That song is just endlessly depressing, and damn. That's all I could say about about Still. It like it's somewhat peaceful, but like solace type of way. And then we have With Teeth, which, in my opinion, after Trent Reznor went sober, after everything that have happened, I would say With Teeth is probably his best comeback album, in my personal opinion, because I mean, there's still bangers in this album, and when you play this album on the aux, this shit goes so hard for no reason. All the Love in the World goes hard. The Collector goes hard. What else? The Hand That Feeds also goes very hard. I really enjoy Lonely, I mean Only, and Sunspots, and also The Line Begins to Blur is also really good. I enjoyed the title track as well. This album has really great bangers, and the vibes, bro. Like I said, this shit on the aux is a vibe in and of itself, bro. Especially driving around in the nighttime, bro. Peak vibes of all fucking time, twin. And this album is primarily about sobriety, and you could hear in the lyrics as well, like the worries and fears and everything. And yeah, I don't have much to say about it. I really enjoyed the album. All right, his other project, post sobriety, is Year Zero, and I gotta say this right off the bat. I will try not to be analytical about this album because there's so much into this album already. Like for example, there was an energy behind Year Zero like that is its own entire rabbit hole that I could like go on an entire video for. But I'm just gonna solely focus on this album, and I gotta say, this album is really cool and really strange as well because it's like more techno, but like it's really good, and it does go hard on the aux, and like the vibes of it as well are really cool, and the lyrics are very relevant and political to this day, for an album that came out in 2005, no, came out in 2007, and then the album it being like the IRGs being taken place in 2020, the fictional year of 2022, and then this album being more relevant this year more than ever. Like I could go into the sociopolitics of it all, but again, I'll be sticking to the tracks, the album itself. I really like Survivalism, The Good Soldier. I like some of the songs in here, but I feel like the Nice Noise versions of those songs do it much better than the originals. But that's just my personal preference. I really like Capital G. Also, God Given banger. Also, The Great Destroyer. For some reason, I really love that song. Like like the noises in the back, and then like halfway through it goes dun 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 dun, like like the fax machine is like getting destroyed or some type of shit. But like yeah, I really enjoy those tracks, and I really enjoy another version of The Truth. Like it, like at first it's a heavy and like subtly aggressive instrumental, and then it like the other half is peaceful, and like I find it to be a very beautiful piece. Overall, I really enjoyed Year Zero. Why am I like whatever. Year Zero is a banger. I'd recommend listening to it, and it's very relevant. And that's all I gotta. Well, not all I gotta say, but like just for this video. Next project I'm gonna be talking about is The Slip, which was an EP that was released after Year Zero. And what made this EP interesting is that it came out for free by like downloading it through Nine Inch Nails website. And this was at a time where streaming was just picking up and becoming more mainstream, and like the way of the CD was supposedly quote unquote over and obsolete, when in reality it to this what's it called, music ownership, all that stuff. But point is, The Slip is a is another banger of an album. It feels more of like a live garage type of album, like EP feel. You know what I mean? And then like what's it called? At first, it starts with 999,009 99999. Basically, fucking. It starts off with that, and then 1 million, and it's really heavy, like dun 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 dun, dun, like heavy drums and shit, and like it feels like like a completely different. Every project that Nine Inch Nails release is a completely different project than the last, but this one feels like like a live performance. You know what I mean? Or garage type of feel. Like there's bangers like Letting You, Discipline. I really like Letting You. That's probably my favorite song from that project. And there's also like three instrumentals: Light in the Sky, Cor- Radiata, The Four of Us Are Dying, and yeah. And also Demon Seed is also pretty good. What else? Yeah, the EP is pretty good. Banger actually. Why am I underestimating it? Bro, just listen to it on the aux. Now that we're on topic with EPs, now I know that Marks released before the EP trilogy, but I'll just be talking about the EP trilogies real quickly because they're EPs and we're on topic. But anyways, I'll start talking from my least favorite to my most favorite. So I'll say my least favorite has got to be Ad Violence, but I still enjoyed my time listening to Ad Violence. I really like the I really liked Less Than, partly because I heard it live, but also because it's a great track. So is The Lovers, and I really enjoyed the background world as well. Like that ending part where it like kept playing and glitching back to like that part of the end, and then like it repeating itself until it gets more and more glitchy. I really like that part. And then Bad Witch, I really enjoyed how experimental Bad Witch was. It felt like a fusion of like techno and then like jazz, or that could have also just been like flute for some reason. But yeah, And then not the actual events is my actual favorite EP out of the trilogy. Listen to it. It's actually peak. And also, fucking, She's Gone Away has no reason to be in the EP. Hesitation Marks released after the slip after a few years, and I gotta say, it is a really cool synth album. It feels like a successor to Pray Hey Machine, and like a sort of like what if like Trent Reznor went back to like synths, and I feel like he did a great job with the synth work that and that like I feel like it's kind of like the downward spiral in certain aspects, but at the same time, again, it's more synthy than industrial. And my favorite tracks in Hesitation Marks is Copy of a Came Back Haunted, Find a Find My Way. I really love Find My Way. Very ethereal. Satellite is also really good. Also, Running is really good, but don't play that shit on aux because that shit adds anxiety for some reason. And while I'm still here, and Black Noise is really good. I really like the instrumental part. It feels like it's the end of the world. Yeah, great album. And it all leads us back to today. We have Nice Noise, which was a collaboration album with Nice Nails and Boys Noise. And I gotta say, I really liked Nice Noise. And I hope they continue working together so that they could like have like a series of like Nice Noise remix albums. Because normally I don't care about remix albums, but with this one, I really enjoyed the sounds that they went with this one, and like the songs that they picked. Vessel, she's got away as a strange one, but for some reason I like it. And also they picked two like deep cuts which are Parasite and Memorabilia. Memorabilia is from like the B-side disc of the Downward Spiral, and Parasite it being a completely different group that Trent made because he didn't want to be the showrunner. But anyways, this I'd recommend listening to it, like partly because if you're a Nine Inch Nails fan, I would say go for it. Listen to it because yeah, it's like it feels like it's from like cyberpunk like type shit. You know what I mean? And like 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 it's such a fucking banger. I don't know what to say. Like the vibes, like bro. Again, driving this shit at nighttime, bro. Like, yeah, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And I hope I see you guys again in the next video. But anyways, before I actually end this video, the Nine Inch Nails concert that was here, bro, that shit was a fucking banger. I fucking love that show. Like, I'm like, what if this is like Nine Inch Nails' like last tour and like they're coming to like my city type shit? So I'm like, let me go ahead and like buy their tickets and like watch them. And bro, I don't regret it whatsoever. I've been listening to Nine Inch Nails since like I was in like either middle school or like early high school. But like, yeah, they have been very like prevalent throughout my life, and like I love their music, and I hope I was able to like this like describe and like yap and like you guys being able to like get what I'm saying, or even if you hate my opinion on Nice Nils, I hope you at least understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, I hope if anything, you guys get into Nice Nils as well because they make great fucking music. Twin Trent Reznor fucking kills it, and like his vocal delivery, like yes, on some projects they're like a little bit cheesy, but like they're real. You know what I mean? And yeah, I hope I also get to work on like another machinima like format because it's fun actually, and like I haven't seen anyone else do it, so I'm like, let me like do that shit. And also, I really love Halo, and I hope this was able to portray all that. And yeah, I hope you guys have yourselves a great day. And when I finish Wolfenstein, we'll play fucking Metro. Why not? And also, hopefully, one of these days, I'll be able to revise my old series from my old channel. Channel. Fuck. But yeah, since I have this setup now, I can finally work on this shit to its fullest potential with no limits whatsoever. And also, I want to like dabble into like other games as well, and like a bunch of like other projects. But yeah, look forward. More shit. Slop. Whatever. Bye.